Hey guys, Eric here today with a little bit of a rant video and also an update at the same time. So, been having a lot, when I say a lot, I mean a lot of problems with my internet service provider, our cable provider here for our internet. And we live in a real small town where you pretty much have two choices, maybe three. There's a couple providers that are DSL, which the speed is just not there what we need to broadcast and professional quality. And then we have our cable provider. And I actually used to work for this same cable provider, so I know their limitations. I know what they can do, and I know what they can't do, and I know when they're BSing and all that kinds of other just crap behind the scenes that goes on with these companies. But regardless, I've had a few shows where I've had to cancel some guests. There's 3 guests now that over the course of 3 years, which is not too bad, but still, that's 3 more guests than I wish to have to cancel. I don't want to cancel any guests. And we lost a couple big ones, which are being rescheduled, and they're coming back, which is cool. But I'm getting tired of apologizing for my internet service provider, who happens to be Cogeco. Very frustrated with them. So a while back, I guess it'd be last fall, we had the municipality here, the city was putting in some new sidewalks out front. And so they cut up all the lawns, whatever, and the boulevards out front near the street. And our cable, and here's the thing with cable. If you don't know this, sometimes cable is buried under the ground, or it's what they call aerial from the wires up the road, and they'll go a line to your house and then down to the side of the house, whatever. Depending on your city, and even in certain cities, you can have one street could be buried, one could be aerial, or whatever. Mine happened to be buried. The construction crew putting in the sidewalks, not only did they cut the line once, not twice, but they cut the line 3 times in the same day. Which was a nightmare. Anyways, they fixed that, and we had to have a service crew come back out because it was a temporary fix. It was just temporary while they put it in the sidewalk, and it was the worst temporary fix I've ever seen in my life. Like literally, I'm sure when you first started practicing with wiring guitar cords and things like that, you'd put them together and tape them. It wasn't even taped; it was just kind of twisted together, horrendous splice. So when the service call was put into the provider Cogeco, they come out, and because I worked for the company before as well too, it's not a fun job. It's definitely not a fun job. I suggested to the service tech, I said, hey, why don't we do an aerial drop from the road, because this is probably going to happen again, construction stuff going on, all that kind of stuff. He agreed with me. And I wanted to make his job easier, because when you're a cable guy and you show up and you're not expecting to do a drop, which means running a cable from the line, from the road to a home, even though ours isn't that far from the road, it's still not a fun job. So I said, hey, how about I help you? He was all for it, so we did that line, put a brand new line in. All was good. The internet was working good. We got through, the Christmas holidays and all that kind of stuff. And then coming into 2019, I don't even know when this kind of started. I'm going to say probably where I noticed the problems were somewhere around, I'd say very early March, if not even maybe a late February. But March was a complete write-off. Now, I see some of these people, there's some people out there that I admire greatly on YouTube. They have like a gig up and a gig down and things like that as far as their speed. Download is not really an important thing for what we as live producers do, but upload speed is crucial. I like to run my shows at 1080p, at 30 frames per second. I can even get away with 60 frames. I would love to do 4K someday, but there's just no way I'm going to be able to do that with our limitations here. But we have 120 meg down and a 10 meg up system. And what was happening was when we actually I did a live show a while back. I was playing some of my Line 6 gear, and I was doing a live jam, and I was going to do an unboxing later during that video. And right halfway through the stream, I'm noticing it's coming down to a screeching halt. Eventually, the show just stopped because the bandwidth, you could almost it was like a car putting its brakes on and screeching till it comes to a complete halt. And that's what happened to our connection. So I put in a service call to Cogeco again, and had to wait about a week. So they gave me a credit. They gave me 1 week's credit. I fought for it. I got a week's credit. And I suggest you do that too. If your cable company is giving you a hard time, fight for your rights, not to party.
You gotta fight for your right.
But fight for your rights to have internet that you pay for. Comes out, and he does a scan on my modem, which is a new modem, by the way, and that's a story for another day. I had to drive an hour out of my way to go pick one of those up, and I made sure I was compensated for that as well too, because it was not my fault. So anyways, service tech comes here. This is about 2 weeks back, maybe a week and a half back, whatever. And he does a scan of my modem and finds that there's noise in the line. There's a little bit more noise in the line than there should be. This is a very old home, and there's been probably many people that have lived here there's probably dozens of people that have lived here over the years. And who knows how many splits are in this line throughout the house. So I suggested to the tech, I said, you know what, well, you're here. Why don't we run a new line from the side of the house right to my studio here where I'm sitting right now. And that'll at least take care of any noise that's within the home, any of these splits, whatever. Because with internet, it's very, very important. If you have a cable internet and television, you always want to have your modem on the very first split, like before there's a split, and then you can split from there and go off to your televisions and things like that. But always want to have your modem on the very first path, the first split. So, and we don't have TV, so it was not a problem. So we ran a brand new line, drilled into the house, drilled into the studio, ran to the modem, and for about 4 or 5 days, I was praising the service online. I was so thrilled, like screaming speed once again, no problem. It was the best thing since sliced bread. And then it stopped again. The other night, we're getting down below, not last night when I did a speed test. Actually, I was going to do a whole series on this. I was doing several speed tests. I've got all the files on the computer, all my little video tests. I'm just going to shoot an impromptu video today, very informal. I was showing all my results over the course of about 5 scans per day at different hours. During the daytime, it's not too bad. Like, like morning time, noon, mid-afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, the speeds are pretty good, if not perfect. Come evening, 6, 7, like 7 o'clock is almost clockwork. I did not want to believe that it was an overload of people using the service at night, but it's looking that way. Still not 100% proven, but it's, the common denominator is every night, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, when I do my live shows at 9 o'clock Eastern, they're dropping down below a half of 1 meg, not like literally less than half of 1 megabit of upload. To even send a picture, let's say you want to, if you're using Gmail and you want to send someone a picture, Sandra Lee here, Nocturnal Butterfly, has tried to send me photos and things like that for some thumbnails and things that she's working on her videos. It'll take about 5 minutes for the photo to upload into the email, like just to attach it, then to send to me. That's how bad the speed has been.
A friend of mine told me, try America Online. I said, why? I've got a computer. He said, try it. You'll see. It's simple. Every time you sign on,
welcome.
It tells you if you've got mail.
You've got mail.
So, I called Cogeco again last night, was on hold for about almost 20 minutes. They had some outages out in some of the further cities up, further north than me, so I can understand they're busy. And the fellow that I spoke to he sympathized with me for sure, and I was a little irate, but I was also kind to him as well too, because I know these people on the other end of the line. It's not their fault, so I apologize, saying, look, if I sound a little snappy here, certainly it's not your fault, but please hear me out. I gave him the whole story, and I said, on top of this, I want to be compensated further, so we are going to be compensated, which is good. Again, always ask for compensation when you're losing your services, and because this has been horrendous. I've told him about the issue about having to cancel guests last minute, rebook them, recancel, or whatever, all that kind of stuff. And a service tech is coming back out again today. But I said also the same thing. I know exactly what's going to happen. The service tech's going to come out here. It's just like taking your car to the garage when you got a knocking in your engine, whatever. You take it to the garage, mechanic's like, I don't hear anything, right? You leave, thank you, mechanic. You drive your car home, and knock, knock, knock. You got it all back again. So that's what's going to happen here. The guy's going to show up today. He's coming at prime time, a good time. The speed's going to be fine. Although I did a test just a few minutes ago, and it wasn't the best either. It wasn't horrible. I could do a show right now, no problem, but it was not anywhere near where it should be. Now, I'm not asking for perfection every time. I'm not asking for 10 meg up every single time I hit that speed test, because speed tests are kind of finicky as well too. But I want to get at least close to what we're paying for. And I guess the grand scheme of what I'm trying to say here today is we might be forced to move our EVH shows and our Kramer Corner shows, and when we ever do them, our Rocking Dead shows. We have 3 shows that run in the evenings at 9 o'clock Eastern. We have EVH and Gear TV, which runs Fridays at 9 Eastern. We run Kramer Corner. Well, I guess we should go in order. Rocking Dead comes on Monday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern, and Kramer Corner on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern. Now, I haven't done those other 2 shows as much as I would like to, Rocking Dead or Kramer Corner. Kramer Corner is going to be getting a lot of love this year. We've got some more guests coming back on Rocking Dead. Now, our fourth show, the Helix Hour, it has 0 problem. It's running at 3 o'clock Eastern on Sundays, and it's perfect. It's almost made for it. So I believe in the very, very near future, you're going to see a time shift for the EVH and Gear TV Friday shows. I don't know when that's going to be, but it's going to be a show, a time slot that will work out, which is actually in the better for a lot of our overseas viewers, from England and Germany and Japan and Australia and things like that. We're gonna be possibly moving it to another slot. We're forced to at this point. And even if the internet gets fixed, which I think we've pretty much exhausted the limitations of the system, I think we may just leave it there as well too. And hopefully you can still hear me. It sounds like someone's cutting grass next door to me here with a loud lawnmower. But just wanted to kind of twofold here, tell you about possibly some changes coming to the channel as far as time slots, and number two, letting you know that we take this very, very seriously. We know you take time out of your busy weeks and weekends and spend your time with us when there's lots of things to watch on the internet and there's lots of things you could be doing other than watching our shows. So when you do sacrifice your time, we want to make sure that we're giving you the best content on a regular basis. We don't have to cancel content and cancel shows. We don't want to do that. We take this very, very seriously, and we aim to give you the best possible production, guests, content, things that you'll appreciate. So tech's going to be here sometime today. The typical will be there between 8 and 5 o'clock. Knock once when you're in a shower and run before you enter the door kind of thing. Very, very frustrating. But I had to make a run out this morning. I'm glad I'm back now because I wanted to be here. Instead of Nocturnal Butterfly, Sandra, telling the cable guy what may be the problem, it's a lot easier for me to convey what exactly is the problem. So let's keep our fingers crossed we see some resolution to this. Again, if Cogeco makes good on this and they come through, I will praise them until the end of time. But at the same time, I'm not very happy with them right now, and I believe, my personal belief is that we've tasked their system to the point where there's too many people using it, even in our small little town, and I don't personally feel we're going to get any resolution out of it. I think it's going to be one of those things where, hey, well, it works good in the daytime, not in the evening, and that's, you don't pay for, it's not prorated. When you pay your bill, it's not, okay, well, here's the afternoon bill where the internet's working great. Now here's the bill at night for when it's not working. It's like you don't get two different bills. You're paying one lump sum, and it covers the good and the crap. So if you're in southwestern Ontario, Canada, and you happen to fall within the Cogeco realm of internet, I won't say don't go to them, but I will say shop around. You may be forced to use them. Let's hope that I can come back with a report next saying that we've got great resolution, and I'll have a smile on my face. It's even making my ingrowing new mustache going gray already from the stress. We'll be back soon. We're going to have lots of fun on the show. A couple good things coming up in the immediate near future. We've got Bart Walsh on the show tomorrow night. He was the guitar player in David Lee Roth's band. After Dave did it when Dave was doing his solo thing. It was pretty cool, really, really cool. He's got some other great stuff in the works as well too. We've also got Nilly Broche coming up on the Helix Hour. We've got Corey Churko. We've got Alex Skolnick coming back. We got Stevik McKay from Shuriken Guitars coming on. And next Wednesday, which is going to be a special night, let's get this internet fixed for this. Michael Sweet's coming on the show. He's gaining a lot of international press about this, talking about why he wants to produce Van Halen. I think it's going to be a phenomenal show. It's getting a lot of traction on the internet right now. There's a lot of sites picking up on this discussion of his, and he reached out to me and said, "Eric, I'd like you to have me back on the show, and I want to tell you and your viewers why I want to produce Van Halen." I think this is going to be a good conversation. So that's next Wednesday. So let's focus on the positive. Let's focus on this cool stuff that's coming. And in the meantime, I'm going to work tirelessly to make sure we get this internet fixed and we continue to bring you the best content that we can possibly bring you. We're not saying it's the best content whatsoever, but it certainly is the best content that we can bring to you. And that is something that we take very seriously. So sorry for the long-winded video. We'll listen very closely for that cable guy to knock on the door because I certainly don't want to miss that. And on behalf of all of us here on the EVH and Gear TV network, we really want to thank you for your support of this channel going on 3 years and 2 months, just about 11,000 subscribers. So we could not be happier. And we appreciate each and every one of you as if you are all one. We don't look at tens and fifties and hundreds and thousands of subscribers. We look at you all as one individual, and we appreciate you all as individuals. So we'll look forward to seeing you in those live chats. If you've never yet done so or jumped in the chat, Don't be afraid. We don't bite. It's a lot of fun. You'll have probably more fun in the chat than you will even watching the show. It's just a nice family fun conversation. And if you haven't yet subscribed, this would be the perfect time to do that right now. If you found this video by accidental discovery, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications by hitting the bell, and you'll get all of our notifications, whether we upload videos like this or we're live or what have you. And as we always say, we will work just as hard to keep you as a subscriber as we did to get you. All right, let me let you get out of here. We'll see you very soon, and I want to come back soon with an update on good news on the internet. Fingers crossed. Comment down below. Wish us some good luck for the internet, whatever. We'll see you real soon. And until next time, cheers. As soon as I hit stop on the recording, just had knock, knock, knock at the door. Sure enough, was the cable guy, so that was nice. I'm glad I was here when he got here. And same guy that was here that ran the new line with me last week. So it was very good. He knows the whole case history. You don't have to repeat the whole story. You know, he knows what's going on. He knows what we're trying to do here. He knows what we need to do. And he just came from another customer's home, a lady's house about 2 blocks away, and she's saying pretty much the same thing. Hey, come 7 o'clock at night, the internet comes to a screeching halt. And like I knew for a fact what they were going to say. There's nothing that he can do himself. You know, he's an install and a moderate, a small service type of a call technician. He doesn't do the stuff out at the road or in the nodes where it connects to everybody. So he has to schedule a service call from the big crew in 24 to 48 hours. We have a show tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed tomorrow that we have some kind of speed tomorrow night. And I said, can you please try to escalate this? I know other people need their service as well too. I'm no more important than them by any means, but we are broadcasting, and other people are not broadcasting, at least in my area, as far as I know. So we need some service, and we need it fast. So there is another update, but still going to keep a smile on the face like we do any other time, and be optimistic. We will get this fixed somehow or another, and we'll keep you posted. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, cheers.